Hey everybody, it's drive home brain dump time. I hope I don't forget everything I just said. I was recording a video and I got a phone call in the middle of it, which happens on occasion, and then I had to pretty much start over. So I'm probably not going to be posting too many videos for a little while. I can't say that for sure. You never know what's going to happen that I might want to talk about. But I didn't want anybody to think it had anything to do with recent kerfluffles or anything. Here's what's actually going on. The Texas Freethought Convention is here in Austin in just a couple of weeks. Richard Dawkins will be here, and there is a rally on the steps of the Texas State Capitol. I'm going to be a part of that, and so will Art and Rod, Jessica Alquist, and Sean Faircloth, and Richard Dawkins, that guy. We're really looking forward to that. We're trying to work out other things as well. It's going to be a crazy busy weekend. I haven't worked out what I'm going to say for the rally, which is one of the reasons I'm going to take some time so that I can work on that. The other thing is, during that convention, I'm going to be doing a debate, which I need to do some preparation for. I'm going to be debating the topic. It may end up as a resolution, but right now it's stated as a question, which is, should atheists, secularists, and freethinkers support a right of abortion? And instead of this debate being me against a religious individual, I am debating someone from this secular pro-life organization. So basically the whole debate is, do they have a leg to stand on? I'm not going to go into specifics here. We'll save that for after the debate. Meanwhile, we're also going to be trying to do a television show that weekend. We're trying to get it set for 2 weeks. We may do a special show from our new studio in the building. There's a lot going on, and my efforts are needed somewhere other than answering every little comment that comes in. In addition to looking forward to the Texas Freethought Convention, I'm also looking forward in November to Skepticon. I'll be there. I'm going to do what I can to make sure that Beth can go too. I've said many times, it's no secret, that there are occasions where I'm involved with atheists and atheist groups, and they aren't skeptical enough for my preferences. And it's also true, as I've said, that there are skeptical groups that are not atheist enough for my preferences. I have a bigger problem, for the record, with the atheist groups and individuals who aren't skeptical enough than I do with the skeptical groups and individuals who aren't atheist enough. But that's neither here nor there. I haven't been to Skepticon. This is Skepticon 5. It's something I've always wanted to go to. I'm looking forward to it immensely because I'm cautiously optimistic that this might be exactly where I feel at home. But I don't know. I do know that I'm going to go there. I'm going to interact with some friends of mine. I'm going to do my best to have a good time, to prepare something that's interesting and engaging, and take a lot of questions. The last thing that I wanted to mention, yet again, is that the American Atheist 50th anniversary is coming up in March. We will be having the convention. Well, I say we. I'm a member, but they will be having the convention here in Austin. It's the American Atheist National Convention. It's the 50th anniversary. It's in Austin, Texas. It's Easter weekend, which also happens to be my birthday this year. I'm going to keep pimping this, not just because I love Dave Silverman, although I do, and not just because I love Amanda and Teresa, although I do, but because I think it's going to be one of the coolest things ever. Could be wrong. It's optimism. I may be a hopeless optimist. Going back to the rally that's coming up on the steps of the Capitol, though, I haven't worked out exactly what I'm going to talk about, and there are some limits as to what we can talk about. For example, even though, you're not, this isn't a restriction, I think, on whether or not you're a nonprofit, but it's about what you can do on the steps of the Capitol. And it may have more to do with electioneering rules. But we're not allowed to endorse for or against a particular candidate. We have to talk about issues. Now, it's probably going to be the case, and this is entirely legitimate, that a lot of the issues that we talk about map directly, or are more likely mapped to one group of candidates or one party than another. Although I think there's enough to object to on all counts. Namely, I've talked before, for example, I won't be attacking Dan Patrick, the I think he's state senator, Texas state senator, not national, from Houston. I won't be attacking him personally, but he's offered up a number of amendments, including the, under God thing, which was unanimously approved. It's not just that it was approved, and this was years ago. It's not just that it was approved, it's that it was unanimously approved to slather this God talk all over the Texas state capitol. That's the type of thing that we're probably going to talk about. Meanwhile, our governor has recently stated that secularists are to blame for this idea of church-state separation. And while I'd love to point out that the way he phrased it means that, or implies that he thinks that church-state separation is actually a reality, and that's why he's trying to find somebody to blame it on, I'm pretty much convinced that our governor is on board with David Barton and the other revisionist historians who will quote mine and lie or misrepresent creatively in order to portray the image that the United States was founded on Christianity, blah, 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 and this is a Christian nation, and church-state separation is entirely a myth, constructed out of whole cloth. When it should be patently obvious to anybody that a straightforward reading of the First Amendment, the Free Exercise and Establishment Clause, the only practical way to have those be legal rights, legal freedoms that are protected, is to have the concept of church-state separation active. It's intuitively obvious. Hey, I don't want the state telling me how I should or shouldn't practice my religion, and I definitely don't want other people's religions influencing what the state does. And those other people probably don't want my religion influencing what the state does. So the absolute simplest, most obvious, boneheadedly obvious solution is to keep church-state separate. And the courts have established this as a matter of legal precedent for years. I don't know why we're arguing about simple things. Well, I do know why we're arguing about it. It's because there are a number of people who are so divorced from reality that facts don't seem to matter, and facts don't seem to have much of an impact. There are a handful of people who I think are lying. They are intentionally misrepresenting this in order to feed people information. Some of it is fear-mongering. And then there are other people who are honest and sincere and well-intentioned and just very, very confused and misinformed. And some of them, they just haven't been presented with the information. And others, it's their own damn fault that they're misinformed, because they have only sought out the sources they agree with them. They have not demonstrated proper skepticism and critical thinking skills in analyzing these claims. This is the way I was raised, this is what everybody has said, therefore this is true, and you can't tell me otherwise, or you're lying if you try. We see this in more than just religion, and even in more than things that are tied directly to religion, but it's all the same mindset. At the rally, I haven't looked specifically to see what the goals are and what sort of things they want to address. I'm hoping to talk to Paul and perhaps Sean Faircloth and maybe even Richard before I go up there, and make sure that I'm on target for what our specific goals are, because the last thing you want to do is have several people speaking about similar issues and one person going up and saying, and another thing, kind of derailing it. So that's what's going on. And I have also, in order to maintain my sanity, tried to set aside time for me to do me stuff. Beth and I are having a Halloween party. I'm playing some computer games intermittently when I have time. But when I get home at night, I don't really go to email and Twitter and Facebook very often. And the same is true when I get to the weekend. It's like right now, this is Friday afternoon. I'm putting together a video that's longer than I anticipated it to be, so I'll wrap up here in a second. I'm going to post it, and I'm going to let it sit and marinate. May not be online to chat for the entire weekend. Sunday, we've got a lecture, which should prove very cool. Anything Dr. D comes and talks to us about has been interesting, instructive, and entertaining. He's like many people, we may not always agree on everything, but he has a mind and an interest in research and educating people that I greatly respect, and so I'm looking forward to that. We've got the TV show this weekend, and dinner afterwards, and then it's back to work, where I'm busy trying to get new releases of our software out. For the people who kept asking, I mean, I've talked about it several times, and they probably won't see it in this video either. I've worked in the computer industry for years, since I got out of the Navy in about 95 or 96. And I've done a lot of hardware testing, software development, software testing, but I kind of float around, and being entirely self-taught, I'm now doing software QA, and have been for probably 12 years or 13 years, maybe more. And I'm the build czar and a bunch of other stuff. Stuff nobody's interested in, so I'll end the video. See you later.